Welcome back, everybody. So, I've played in a few tournaments lately, and I have done not so good. I haven't done bad, but I haven't done what I would have liked to have done. And there's moments in my game where I am more confident and I feel really good about my shots. And when I get up to the tee pad, I know I can hit a gap. But here lately, my backhand hasn't been that way at all. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I really want to start honing in on my accuracy. And so we're just going to compare real quickly Paul McBeth's form and my form. I've yet to do this, and I'm kind of anxious to see, how far apart they are. And so I have actually somewhat watched them because I had to get the timing right. It was kind of a challenge to get my speed exactly like his speed, but I got it as close as I possibly could. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. So off the bat, Paul McBeth's run-up is definitely longer than my run-up. First thing I noticed is Paul's head is directly over his crotch. He is perfectly up and down. My head's kind of over. It's back a little. I'm kind of leaned back, which my hips are pointed upwards, which isn't bad. His hips are slightly upward, but it's a little bit of a difference. Let's see here. Let's get into the X step. Paul's still looking good, Let's see. Both of us right here, back it up a couple frames. Once again, we're really soon into the throw. But Paul's a little backwards. I'm a lot backwards. My head is over my left thigh, but you will see going forward it stays there. Another thing I noticed is my X step. Let's pause it here. Paul's X step is pretty compact. It's not near as far apart as mine. I don't know exactly what kind of shot Paul's throwing because I haven't seen the other angle of this, but he's definitely more compact. Mine's bigger, but for the most part, it don't look bad up to this point. I mean, I don't know how much the X step actually affects. I mean, I know it affects the way your hips position and that kind of stuff, but I don't think that's going to affect my throw into a negative way drastically. So my head's kind of, I feel like I'm decently balanced. I don't feel like that's a bad position, but I am no expert at form. But I just don't feel like that's a bad position. Going forward, here's where things get dicey. In my eyes, anyways. This is where they get a little bit. Okay. I don't know what the crap I'm looking at. I have no idea why my head is not looking at the target right now. And this is something that I noticed big time. There's other things, but I'm just going to few clicks forward here. Paul is still locked on to his target, okay? Paul is locked on. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm checking out. I'm fixing to start looking at the discs in my bag. Maybe see who's over here hanging out. No idea what I'm doing. Other than my head being way over here, the form itself doesn't look too bad. Don't look too bad. I'm still leaned back farther than he is. My weights. His head is still over. He's balanced. If he was just standing still, he would be perfectly balanced. He could stand on this leg. I would fall over. Okay, so let's go forward a little bit more. All right. Another thing, my head. Once again, I'm really focused on my bag. Paul is really focused on the target, which is what you should be doing. That could be a huge reason why I'm not hitting my lines, is because I'm not even looking at them. So bear with me now. You don't really know how bad your form is until you slow-mo it right next to Paul McBeth, and then you know exactly what you need to work on. If you haven't done it, I would highly recommend it because I'm learning so much about my form right now with you guys. So let's see. Go forward a little bit more. Paul is once again perfectly balanced. I look like I'm fixing to hatch an egg. Paul does not look. My foot's about 6 inches off the ground. Paul's is about an inch and a half, 2 inches. If you watch his foot like never moves off this plane. My foot's doing this rainbow. Maybe I'm getting some lucky charms. There's nothing lucky about my last tournament. Okay, right here is where it's not looking good. This is where the form pretty much goes to crap. So Paul's head is still pretty balanced, pretty centered. He's pretty much centered. He's a little bit back. My head is over my left knee. So I am way, 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 way too far leaned back. Okay. My arm, I don't know that my arm's in a horrible position. His shoulders are still pointed more. Obviously, he's looking at the target, so it's going to naturally want to pull his shoulders more parallel to the pad. I'm already facing backwards. Don't know what I'm looking at. Still haven't figured that one out. So right here, Paul's still looking at the target, and I got no idea. Okay. Right here, my head is still over my left thigh. Paul's head is right over his, man, it's like his left groin. And mine is over my left kneecap. What else is there? This leg is completely locked out. His is still bent. He's still not sure what I'm doing there. But my shoulders are way too perpendicular to the pad. His are still rotating. Okay. Oh, whoa. Okay. Let's get a little bit into this. Okay. So, a couple things. Let's just back it up when we get into this. Paul's arm, my arm's fully extended, that's a good thing. You want your arm fully extended. His chin is almost tucked into his shoulder. My chin is not. I'm still looking backwards. Let's see. Other than that, Paul's still more centered than I am. I'm getting there, but what's happened is I was so far back. Now I'm falling forward because I'm falling over. Had to compensate to get myself level. So right here's a big difference. Paul's hips are parallel to the pad. My hips are parallel to the pad. My arm is already almost bent at a 90. I mean, it's slightly bent, but my power pocket, whatever you want to call it, I'm already in there. But Paul's already pulled his arm through. His hips are parallel. His head's where it needs to be. My head's decent at this point. But his disc is over his left foot. My disc is over my left thigh. And I think I'm losing a ton of power because my hips are already spinning. My arm is in front of my hips. My hips are parallel, but my arm's already... Just watch. Just watch. Just watch. Okay, right here, Paul's hips are already engaged and his disc is still behind him. My hips are engaged and my hips are slightly above parallel, but my disc is over my body. Paul's hips are way more turned than mine are. His hips are in front of his arm, and mine are not. My hips are behind my arm, which is not what you want. Okay, so basically, right here, doesn't look bad, except my foot's off the ground. When I'm rocking in my throw. I'm backwards and then I'm forward, and when I do that, my momentum is shifting. I'm falling over my front leg. My head is over my kneecap. Paul's head is still over his crotch. And my left foot is kind of swinging back behind me, and then it's going to swing back in front of me. It has to go, and his pretty much stays put right there. Okay, see his nose is over his thigh. My nose is over my front foot. It's not what you want. It's not what you want at all. Here's another thing. When I was talking about his hips being in front of his arm, his hips are almost pointing at this camera, man. My hips are just now pointing forward and the disc is way out of the way. So his leg is still back here because his hips are facing diagonally and my hips are pointing straight ahead. Anyways, yeah, I just see there's a lot of things to work on in my form. Keeping my head forward, looking at the target as long as possible. The first thing, do not rock, don't lean back, and then lean forward. I gotta keep myself balanced, I gotta keep myself centered. Don't fall over my toe. And let my hips be in front of my arm. That's a lot to start working on, but those are some things right off the top of my head that I can see that I'm not doing what I should be doing. And so this is sweet because I've always wanted to do this, and now that I've done it, I know exactly what I can work on. And so just like when you play other sports, you watch film, and this sport's no different. You get better when you watch film. Well, you get a better mental grasp on what you need to do. You get better when you go out and practice, but there's definitely some things I can practice on, for sure. I will say one part of my game that I feel extremely confident in is my putting, and that's because I putt in my backyard all the time. And so if you want to get better at putting, there's definitely some tips and tricks that I will put together in a future video. But if you want to get better at putting, you want to get out and putt. You can putt, you can have really bad habits that you got to be better at, but really and honestly, just to get better at putting, I just go out in the backyard and I just putt, 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 and putt. So, but anyways, so now I just need to work on my backhand. So, yep, and then once again, Paul's balanced. I'm not. I'm already way over into my throw, and Paul's still balanced. But, anyways, yeah, that's really it. Thank you guys for watching, and until I catch you in the next one, go in peace and be blessed.